inakuwa kana kani kora kona kora kora na kokora kona kana kani kora kora.
Also chura mtoto akaenda chura atoroka na
mtoto wa Nicholas ameona chura akatoroka. So, nayo chura venye imeona mtoto wa Nicholas ikatoroka.
Kana
kani kora kona kora.
Kana ka mtoto wa
kana kani kora mtoto wa Nicholas.
Kana kani kora.
Kona kora.
Kaona kora.
Kameona chura.
Kaona kora.
Kora kakakimbia.
Kora.
Na kokora kona kana kani kora.
Na kokora kaona kani kora. Kora.
Nayo chura. So the difference is the intonation.
Countdown. Hello, and welcome back to yet another episode of the Vineyard Podcast, your weekly dose of fun, of laughter, of banter, and a whole lot of realness. So, this week, we are finally getting to the dilemma episode. Mko excited?
Kabisa.
Mko na wisdom?
Hopefully. Knowledge tuko nayo nyingi.
Wisdom ndio amko.
Wisdom, but the Lord says, and he who wants wisdom, let him ask.
Yes, so a few episodes back, we told you guys to send in some of your dilemmas, and we would do a dilemma episode where we can just answer some of your questions, some of your life challenges, and just the stuff that is really going on in your life, and give you our 2 cents. We are actually so happy that you trust our opinion enough to ask what we think. But yeah, so we got a few responses, and we want to look at 3 dilemmas today. And thank you to everybody who shared. I don't know if they tagged our accounts. I think, again, this time round, we are going to ensure that our handles are going to be put in the description box. So it's at
Hope Nyokabi.
At Hope Nyokabi on Instagram. At haujui handle yako? Nikuangalinie sahi.
Unaitwa nini kwa Instagram?
But by the time you're ending,
okay, you'll have said it. Mine is at Dr. Sonia Twitter. No space, no underscore, just like that. And you can
Timo Kingori.
So at Timo Kingori, at Hope Nyokabi, or at Dr. Sonia Twitter. And you can Dr. DR, not the whole word. And you can send any of the stuff that you're going through. If you don't want it to make it to an episode, you just tell us. We'll just give you the answer in the DM. We don't have to. Si lazima tukuanike hivi. But yeah, so I want us to get into the first dilemma. This was sent to me by a very beautiful girl. Of course, I will not say your name. But let's just get straight into it. All right. So, hi guys. Okay, let me skip the greetings. But she greeted us, and she said she likes the work that we are doing. And so she says, I know I genuinely desire to know God, and at a deeper level, that is. For context, I have been a Christian for a while, but tuseme nimekuwa nikicheza na Mungu.
Jonah.
So it has been like a game of chasing where I am here today and gone tomorrow. And I know God has been calling me to a point of total obedience and for me to walk in righteousness. Ilea, for real. And I'm here for it because I have wandered off for so long, yet I know He is the truth at the end of the day. And I'm ready to come home and be trusted even with the work of God. Because I realized God can still forgive me, and the grace is available any day, anytime. But now I want to be trusted, which I think comes with consistency and being genuine. My problem, however, is the fact that I need to leave certain friendships behind. I tend to compromise a lot when I'm with her. So this is a girl, she has a female friend. So it's, it's a best friend. Yeah, so my heart breaks to think that I'll have to leave her behind because she really is my whole heart, for real. I love her so much, and leaving her behind, if at all I will need to, is breaking my heart. So that's my dilemma. Yes, so I'm just melewa your situation. It's a girl, she has a best friend. From what I'm deciphering, she is walking actively with God, and she wants to take her relationship with God to the next step, getting to the point where even God can trust you with yani kazi yake, but she can feel she can feel that there's this specific relationship that is holding her back. So how would you guys handle that situation if it were you, before even you start just spewing advice? What would you do?
The situation of a best friend or a friend that you really treasure, somebody that you really love, and you can see them walking in darkness, there's always a part of you. In fact, there's always the whole of you that wants for them to be able to see the light that you have seen. And when it becomes difficult for them to see, it's it's something that really hurts you so much. So I especially understand and really sympathize with how she's feeling right now, and I do empathize. But my problem now comes in when the positive influence is not strong compared to the negative influence.
Yes.
Because I think, like she rightly presented in what she said in her dilemma, she said that she compromises. She tends to be the one to compromise a lot when she's with a friend, and it's not the friend making adjustments for her. So when it's the negative influence that is taking precedence over the positive influence, then there becomes an issue.
Yes.
Because then slowly you will start becoming lukewarm in your walk with God.
Exactly.
And partial obedience is not something that God works with. Knowledge that the Lord wants you and wants to use you is not enough for a Christian. It's not like a problem at knowledge as long as you at least know the problem, you are halfway there.
Yeah.
When you know you've got to go ahead and walk in obedience. There's no partial obedience when it comes to God. It's you go the whole way. So I think she's in a very difficult place. But if for real, she genuinely loves her friend, I don't think that it should be her cutting off the friend, because I feel like it's a very extreme issue. It should be the last option she should be seeking first. Yeah. If you really do love your friend and some things are really plaguing your heart, speak to your friend about it. Tell them, I really love you. I do. And there's this journey that I'm on. And then there's this thing that you do, and there's how it makes me feel. And probably there's what I do, which I don't want to leave right now because it's really important to me. And it may make you feel some type of way. But I'm not apologetic about this way that I'm going. So if you're going to be here for the ride, well and good. But if it's going to be something that is going to be a bone of contention along the way, perhaps we should take a step back. I would think that. I've had a friend before who was not walking in the light. And I remember the first thing I did was tell her, no, go away first.
Go away first.
Okay, I didn't tell her like that. But the solution that we took in light of her situation then, I told her, you need to leave, extricate yourself from this environment because it's what is giving you issues. And I knew that her extricating would mean no communication with me, would mean us. But in a funny and miraculous way, we met years after. She had found God, very vehement about God, and God just found a way to reconnect us. And I just love it because I thought this is a friendship that was meant to be. Because I knew coddling her with lies was leading her to destruction.
Yes.
Instead of loving her hard by telling her the truth, which would ultimately mean that there's a possibility of me losing her. So that would be me. That's the approach I would take.
Awesome. Do you have anything to add? I feel like she has been very exhaustive.
And I think it's a very hard place to be in.
It's a hard place, yeah.
But then I'm reminded of this verse that says, bear your own cross and follow me. There's an aspect of Christianity that's so personal that when it comes to the point of, is it a relationship I should pursue and a friendship, or is it God I should pursue? God should take precedence over everything else, because it's God who saves. When you're reading and I see the struggle, it's a struggle of how can I help my friend to change? And she's tried it and it has not worked out because she ends up compromising on her values and what she stands for. Because on one hand, you really want to pursue God, and I love how her heart is geared towards the truth, and she knows it.
She does.
Has the passion.
She really does. Yeah.
I think, for lack of a better, the only thing that plagues her is the savior mentality. The need to actually remove her friend from that situation so that she can join, because she doesn't want to separate. She doesn't want to sever the relationship. She wants it to be a duo in their walk of faith. And sadly, at times, mostly Christianity is personal. You know that the famous lines of our parents. Same with faith. There's a beauty in having people out there walking the same faith. But it trickles down to, it has to be my relationship with God, not me and my best friend with God. No matter how good of a heart you have, there needs to be a boundary where it says, when it comes to God, I love God more than you. See how the word says, hate your mother, hate your brother,
Yes.
and love me. I think, and it's a very harsh truth to actually take it. Because on one hand, you're losing someone who you've done life for so long. But on the other hand, the cost of the friendship is too high.
The cost is actually your eternity.
Yes.
And I don't think that's a good bargain, if you ask me.
It's not a wise choice to make.
It reminds me of a conversation I was having with one of my friends on a certain Sunday. Joylene, I think we've quoted Joylene so much on this
Our
episode.
content is from the things
It's
she
from the
says.
things that she says. And I asked her one time, Joy, if I decided to identify as LGBTQ,
Quick.
LGBTQ from here on out, what would you do as my friend? She was like, Hope, sorry, but I would love you from a distance.
Woo. Ouch. The truth hurts.
That's what she said. And I looked at her with admiration. I really did, because for her, the goal is clear. And if you or anything threatens to get into the way,
It's you who
sorry, you're the one that goes. It's not the goal. The goal is eternity. And if there's going to be something that would get in the way of that, I don't think there's room for that in my life. And I really admired her for that.
Yeah.
And I think that some things really do take courage.
A lot of courage.
This work is not easy, but we've been told that there's a cost to pay. There's a cost to pay. And because it's a cost, it means that it must hurt. It must pinch.
I love it.
It must pinch. So yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
The only thing I'd say, my dear girl, like they have said, you must count the cost, you must pay the price. Christianity, true Christianity, if you want to walk the journey, it's going to pinch at some point. It's going to hurt at some point. The only practical advice I'd give you is you don't have to go and be like, I can't be your friend anymore because I'm now a Christian. But let me tell you, if you walk your truth and you walk your journey,
it will serve itself.
the relationship will just separate. I've seen it in my own life. You will just find you're growing distant because you don't, the things you enjoy, she doesn't enjoy. The things we laugh at here, the quarter of my other friends think you're just weird. You are just a big bunch of losers. You know? So natural selection is that you have made a decision for your life. You'll see the separation happening. Just let it be. God is going to add to your car people who are walking and doing life the way you desire to. And just, it's okay. You'll be okay. Hautakufa, utakuwa sawa. Don't worry. All right, next dilemma.
Next dilemma. So he says,
It's a he.
It's a he. He says he likes the work we're doing, so thank you for the appreciation.
Thank you, sir.
So he says, so I'm currently studying and living in Germany. Sorry.
Unacheka dilemma ya mtu.
Nimekumbuka we also have a friend.
Oh, who recently went.
OMG.
Oh, if you're watching this, we miss you.
Tuma flags za Germany hapo ndio tusikae tunaongelelea
He's
mtu
been in
hayuko.
Mtu hayuko.
So he's been in Germany for more than a year. He says back home he's not a member of CITAM, though he's born again and he's a Christian. Before going to Germany, I was attending CITAM at the River for close to 2 years. So this is the issue. Guys, my issue is that at the stage I'm in life, I feel I need to get someone we can eventually do life with. I left Kenya without a girlfriend, and to be honest, I don't want to marry a white girl. This is what is disturbing me. How can I meet my person, and being a Christian, I want to marry a Christian lady? Thank you. Have a great time.
Okay. So the question is, how can I meet my person?
He left Kenya, went abroad. Congratulations.
Went abroad,
Now that he's abroad, he has reached the stage in his life. He feels like
He wants to settle.
Lord,
Ilaki Adam. It's
bring
not
my
good
rib.
for man to
For
be
man
alone.
to be alone, Lord.
bring my
My rib, Lord.
But his preference is more inclined to. He wants someone who's
African.
saved and someone who's homegrown. He doesn't want someone who's white.
I was about to make a joke, but I don't think it is. You know me, I was about to say it. So it is a case of racism. But it's...
Church woods.
Look at our first example. Unasema racism, mimi nasema ingia dating app.
Bambo, ingia dating app. But what do you guys think about dating apps? Me, the only thing that stops me.
Old school.
The only thing that stops me from apps ni aibu. Nisipatane na watu wananijua huko. Otherwise ningekuwa mbaya. Because I thought it's a problem with context. One time when I was abroad, I just had a conversation with some of the ladies and I asked them, so how is the dating scene like here? How does it look like? And they were like, in fact, here to meet organically is the miracle. For them, the norm is
dating apps.
Dating apps. It's online meeting. So for us here, the way organic meeting is the norm, and the anomaly is when you're on it. So it's different from there.
Start thinking about dating apps.
It depends on how he views it and how he likes it.
I heard there was even a Christian. That Bumble apparently is a Christian dating app.
Is it?
It's not like Tinder. It's just like Tinder is just Tinder. Bumble apparently is just it's. Of course, you can't verify, but like it's primarily a Christian dating app. It's for Christian singles.
So even the
Interesting.
will be informed by.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly. Me, I have no experience, so I don't know how to advise
Very interesting.
in regards to dating apps. But
We should probably find out
from
people who know.
What other option is there for a brother?
I think one. It's a struggle because on one hand, marriage is something that if someone desires for it, it's a beautiful and it's a good thing. But then the hindrance is the criteria of which you want doesn't suit where you're at. So for starters, I'll but you see, it's a hard question because I want to know then why not a certain type of people. It feels like I'm dealing with half data.
You want more information.
You want more information, but I would see why he says he wants an African woman and not, because maybe it's just a matter of preference. It's not even anything like that's deep.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of preference. But then again, one, I think my concern with this dilemma is the fact that if he is going to extend time in Germany, the possibility of him being able to meet somebody here, not unless he's open to long distance online dating, but if not that, my G, celibacy is your option.
Yeah, your options ziko chache, bro.
Yeah, your option looks like you either become open to online dating.
Yes,
and I think
long
that
distance.
sometimes when you're studying abroad, there's usually reunions for Africans and in places. So it's best as a man to put yourself out there. You might actually just meet a lady and you can hit it off and strike a conversation and then probably might like her. So put yourself out there in fora where there's a lot of Africans that are intermingling, or open yourself up to the idea of online dating so that you can be able to at least reach the pool of people back home.
Because of that specificity.
Yeah,
That's
of the
what limits
specificity.
your options.
Yeah.
Maybe also don't pause your life, because at times we are caught in the I need to get married. We forget there are also other things that. So also I would say don't pause your life. You will find someone for sure. You'll find someone for sure. So just continue, keep at it. One day you'll come and tell us, hopefully in our DMs. Guys, niko na Rora show kujeni.
Niko na Rora show, mliniambia nifanye online dating. Hiyo kitu ilivana.
Nice. Do you feel like it's been exhaustive?
I think so, based on the information that we've been given. Yeah.
And we're wishing you all the best, sir.
Yeah, don't be discouraged.
Yes.
We just pray that the Lord will also just hold you so that you don't resort to anything else, because loneliness can plague you when you're abroad and alone.
Yes.
That is a serious issue when you are alone and there are no people that you're speaking to. So hopefully you find comfort in the company of the Lord and enjoy your own company, and also just thrive with friends around you too. Yeah.
To our audience in Germany, this is now high time to form community now.
Clearly, tuko na beshte huko, ni kama mtatafutana tu mpatane huko, mu encourage one another in the Lord. Yeah.
The last dilemma for this episode, because I know time is gone. So this is from another lady, very beautiful girl. sent a nice long message. So this is what she says. Hello, Dr. Sonia. I hope you are well. I was...
I like the greeting.
like the greeting. I was to text my dilemma since last week, Wednesday, after watching the podcast, but the length of my message is... can you see? It's a long message.
That's a long one.
Yeah, but the length of my message is made me procrastinate, but here I am. So my dilemma is that there are times that I'm very emotionally vulnerable. I get sad out of no reason, crying easily, feeling like not talking to anyone. I hate how I get sad for no reason. I feel like it's just not right. Sometimes someone like anakongelesha na psych, alafu namjibu one word answers, like I don't match their energy, which I end up feeling bad for them. And I know it's about self-control, but it's kind of hard because my emotions control me rather than me controlling them. It's something I'm praying about. At the end of the day, I will cry out of guilt because I will feel like God gave me a perfect, blessed, beautiful day, but I spent it being sad and couldn't practice self-control and how I related with others that day. It's such a dilemma for me. Please discuss it. Much, much love for all of you. Be blessed. Receive the love, first of all.
Received the love. Thank you.
Yes, so that's the dilemma. She's just basically saying she's having struggles controlling
Her moods.
Her emotions and how it's affecting how she's relating
with people.
And of course that translates to
Let me
how
ask
it is.
from a lady's perspective and from a medicine perspective. Are there times where it has nothing to do with you? It's just because you're a lady. Therefore, as in me or two, because part and parcel I feel like part and parcel of her struggle was, there are things that are just because you're a lady, you find yourself, and it has nothing to do with your character or who you are as a person. It's just, as Hope said, hormonal imbalance. Me too.
Hormonal imbalance. Yes, there are times, of course, across like during your cycle that you are more sensitive.
And depressive episodes that just come
out of nowhere. The day could be beautiful, everything could be panning out well, but you are just very pessimistic and you're just not having it. So that exists, and that could definitely be a factor. But from what I'm hearing, or what I don't know what you're getting from this.
My concern would be, is this something that frequently occurs, or is it something that happens at certain times? I recently came across the phenomenon of sometimes some ladies don't go through period cramps, but the signal during that time for them is all of a sudden you're just moodless. Everything annoys you, everybody annoys you, and you're just you don't even know where that comes from. I did not know there was something like that existed. I just thought it was part and parcel. I did not know there was actually that kind of phenomenon. Yes. So just first of all, to tell her not to panic about being sad. One option could be track and see how often this happens, and if it tends to be like a pattern for sometimes, and see it could be something to do with the body. That is option one. Option two is the fact that I don't know, but I just think that the devil just comes to steal our joy.
Yeah.
And when he comes to steal our joy, it's usually, he will make us focus on the things that are not working in life.
Yes.
And then you are blinded from the many big blessings that you have experienced in life and the great joys that you have seen.
Yeah.
So you are constantly looking at the people who are flourishing and you are not, the things in your life that are not working out.
Yes.
And you are forgetting to focus on, the devil just has a way of turning our minds to that. So we are focusing on the Goliath and not the God of David.
The problem.
Yeah.
Instead of the,
We're focusing on the problem instead of the God over the problem. So I think that would be an issue. And for something such as that, I think it would be best for one, it's important to just check and track and see how your journey is with the Lord. How often do you engage with his word? Because I find that it really uplifts the spirit so much. How often do you engage with God? And if your prayer life and your reading of the word of God is not something that is so much of an issue, I think it would be best to also just have a conversation with a specialist like a counselor,
and
or even a therapist.
Therapy
Yeah.
Good.
A counselor or a therapist, so that you can find out maybe there are some things that are weighing on you subconsciously and you don't know, you're just carrying burdens.
And this is just
And you
the
need to unpack.
byproduct of
Yeah, and
life.
this is just it.
Yes.
Now the body and the mind are tired, so that's why you just constantly are already waking up tired with life, and so you need to unpack something. So these are some of the considerations she should have. But in essence, I think that happiness and joy, we just don't feel, we work towards. I think you constantly, every single day, you choose to be happy in spite of. The joy of the Lord is ingrown. It comes, you experience it and you overflow from a place of relationship with God.
Yeah.
You need to cultivate relationship with God so that the joy of the Lord is with you. So similarly, happiness is also one of the same things. You need to constantly tune your mind to the things that are cheerful. It's a hard thing to do. It's a muscle you actually exercise. Choosing to not focus on the negative and choosing to focus on the positive. It's not to pretend that the negative doesn't happen. It doesn't exist. But you don't overly focus and give too much credit to it, and you forget what is working. So that is what I would think.
Nice.
Yeah.
I think you guys have been very exhaustive with that one. I will just close this specific dilemma and basically the episode by reading a verse that came to me even when I read that dilemma. It's 2 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 5. And it says, we demolish arguments and every pretension that sets itself up against the knowledge of God, and we take captive every thought to make it obedient to Christ. When the part of your dilemma that I'll really address is when you said you felt your emotions are controlling you rather than you controlling them. And I really like what Hope has said, because that's the first thing I'll say. We preach Jesus and we also preach therapy. They don't have to be mutually exclusive. Go and get the help that you need, because human beings are complex. Our emotions are very difficult things to understand. And sometimes you need that extra help and to discover some of the things, like she said, maybe weighing you down and maybe actually causing you to just have a negative outlook on life and just, feel sad and depressed. But I'll also say, sometimes the enemy throws fairy darts. In the church that I was, I remember this illustration so vividly. Our senior pastor's wife was in the previous church I used to go to, used to tell us, the enemy sometimes throws fairy darts into your mind. You could be going like on the road, and then you see like a billboard, like an inappropriate billboard, and let's say you're a person struggling with lust. You are okay. But now that's now one of the fairy darts. It has just planted a little thought. If you let it foster, you will dwell and it will lead you down a path. So in the same way, when you feel like, your emotions are they are raising themselves above God, that's why we say we take every thought and we subject it unto the obedience
of the Lord.
You speak to yourself, you speak to your mind, and you subject every emotion, everything you feel, to the obedience of Christ. When you test it against the scripture, it will not stand. That sadness, God is not a God of just inflicting on us sadness and negative, bad vibes and emotions. So address it spiritually, of course, and also we also don't neglect the place of therapy. Just get full, all-rounded help. And it is our prayer for you, our dear sister, that you will address this thing. Don't let it, don't just continue your life. That's a very poor quality life.
Yeah.
That you're consistently just feeling low and down and like there's nothing to be happy about. Life is so...
The devil is robbing you of so much life.
Exactly, of your joy. So we ask that you heed what we have said and just take it into consideration and see how to proceed from there. But it's going to be well, and we will pray over these dilemmas off camera, and we know God is going to come through and meet for each one of you who submitted the three that we have discussed today. So Thank you for sending in your dilemmas. It's been a long episode, but it's been a good episode. You feel free to send us anything you're going through. We will be doing this periodically, not every time, but we'll be addressing these dilemmas and sharing with you our feedback. On this platform, we love to engage with you. So for the people watching, you could also leave any advice that you feel for any of the dilemmas, anything extra you feel would benefit the people who submitted these dilemmas. And let's learn and grow together. So till next time, we will see you on the Vineyard Podcast. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Good night, everyone. Hey.
Home time.
Hey.
Cut.